Want to shop Walmart Black Friday deals first? Walmart Plus members get early access to our hottest deals. Join now and get 50% off a 1-year annual membership. Shop Black Friday deals first with Walmart Plus. See terms at walmartplus.com.
Behind those cozy nights at home, thousands of employees at BP go to work every day. People producing more U.S. natural gas. People building grid-scale solar capacity. People turning landfill waste gas into pipeline-quality renewable natural gas. And people delivering all of that power where it's needed. They're part of the more than 300,000 jobs BP supports across the country. Learn more at bp.com/investing in America.
At Sierra, discover joyous deals on great gifts for everyone on your list. Like cozy slippers, ski gear, fishing poles, bikes, large kayaks, even larger canoes. Whew, which might lead to another discovery. Wrapping gifts is the only sport you need to stay fit this season. 'Tis the season to discover great gifts at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
Hello and welcome to the 1865 match report. Slightly strange one today after Forest beat Ipswich 1-0 at the City Ground. We're recording this the evening after. And I have to say, something that I never ever realised was on my bucket list was singing "You've Lost That Loving Feeling" at Ed Sheeran, who was sat just behind me in the box. So, as we lined up today, coming on the back of 6 goals in 2 games conceded. So we had 5 changes. Nuno said the goal conceded had worried him, so he made these changes, including the first change to our back 4. So we lined up with Sells in goal, Ola Aina on the right, Milenkovic and Murillo, and then Nico Williams coming in, replacing Alex Moreno on the left. We had a midfield 2 of Elliot Anderson making a return from injury alongside Ryan Yates, and then the standard 3 of Hudson-Odoi, Morgan Gibbs-White, and a surprise start for Jota Silva with Chris Wood up front. And Forest really went at them for the first 30 seconds. The bloke next to me hadn't arrived, and I was convinced we'd scored because Jota Silva received the ball, wins a corner, Anderson puts the ball into the box, Gibbs-White gets a free header, and it goes just wide. And then it kind of started off very, very brightly for Forest, and immediately we were thinking we need to put one of these chances away. And then Ipswich took control of the first half. However, a penalty in the second half with a slight hint of controversy about it meant that Forest took the lead and held on through to the end. So I'm joined by Tom, who is also at the City Ground today. Tom, how was it for you?
Pretty good. I think we needed, without putting too much pressure and saying the game was like easy or anything like that, because I was happy with the win, because obviously with this week coming up with the 2 Manchester clubs and the 2 defeats what we've had previously, it was nice to get back to winning ways today. Yeah,
definitely. I think the 3 points was more important than the performance, and there's a few things to say about the performance, I think, but as much as that, I also have to say Ipswich are probably one of the best sides I've seen play at the City Ground this season.
Yeah, I mean, like you, I've been going to Forest for like a number of years now, and like last season with like Burnley and Luton and Sheffield United, and to be honest, I don't think they were equipped for the Premier League. And then we've seen all 3 sides now, haven't we, who was promoted last season in Ipswich, Southampton and Leicester. I think Ipswich have got a lot going for them. Got like a fantastic up-and-coming manager in Kieran McKenna. They've been together a good year or 2 now, so they know each other inside out. And but I think if sometimes they're a bit naive, but if they just like got that naivety away from the game and like just polished up in the final third, I think they would have given us more problems today. But that's goes down to how defensively sound we was with obviously Sells, Aina, Milenkovic, Murillo, and Nico Williams. So, but we're looking at the sides who from last season and this season at Ipswich do look they've got more positives than negatives, so to speak.
Definitely. So, as I said, we started off pretty much on the front foot, going straight at them. There was the Gibbs White header. There was a really good save, I think we forced out of them, if I remember rightly, early on. Oh, no, it was Yates had a shot from distance that got deflected wide after Jota Silva, I think, forced a save, something like that.
Yeah, I thought that it was going. If the defender wasn't on the line, I thought it was going in. But having looked at the Sky highlights since I got back to the game, I think it was just about going wide. But I think we needed to be on the front foot because, like last week, I tweeted like 10 minutes in the game when I was at the Emirates, we didn't get out of bed. So it's imperative that we started well because Ipswich were probably like coming into the game with nothing to lose, really, the away from home and everything. And they would have been like, if we can get something at the City ground, it's a massive result for us. So, yeah, I think it was imperative that we started on the front foot, get the crowd going.
I think as well, one of the differences to a lot of games this season, I'd say, is, and maybe it's because of Muric in goal, who didn't get as much abuse as I was expecting, but because he's in goal, I noticed that we were pressing, like when they had a goal kick or when the ball was with the defenders, our forwards were coming right up to them, which is quite unusual for a Nuno side.
Yeah, the parlay today, probably a weakness with Ipswich for everything they've good to do. They have like gifted the odd goal, haven't they? Muric has been like the problem, and we knew this from about 5 years ago when like, 3 games on Trent's side after he let that ball go in.
Yeah.
Matt Phillips against West Brom, and then Samba come in, and Samba never looked back, did he? Over 2 and a bit years of obviously being the hero in the playoffs and everything. But yeah, Muric is just, for every good thing he does, it's like it's followed up by 2 bad things. And yeah, he looked jittery, but then in the second half, which we'll probably get to, is that he made a decent save from Murillo for the header. So yeah, he's one of those goalkeepers who, he's got a ricket in him. But yeah, it would have been nice to get a goal in the first half. Really, I thought with how we played, especially in that first 20 minutes, being on the front foot. But then I think it's not just this team. I think Forest have been like it for years, where they don't get the start on the front foot, and then sometimes they don't get the goal, and they just like go in the shell a bit, and then let the start like gaining some momentum in the game and settling down. And I thought Ipswich, after the first 10 minutes, I thought they settled into the game quite well, to be honest. And I thought that they were starting to create the odd problem for us, but without like really being like under the cosh kind of thing. They were like knocking the ball around and like breaking the line sometimes. So yeah, but like I said, it would have been nice for Forest to get a goal earlier than they did, just to put
that. Yeah, I mean, and as I said, the Ipswich did come into it in the second period of the first half, to the point where it was quite a dull half in a way, and it was quite frustrating to watch from a Forest point of view, because I thought Ipswich totally dominated the midfield. They were very, very physical, and we didn't really look like we were capable. We were solid at the back, and they weren't creating any chances, but we never looked like we could win the ball back and do something with it. When as soon as we got the ball back, they pressed us really, really well, so we couldn't move it anywhere.
Yeah, and on top of that, I thought sometimes that we was trying a bit too hard with the ball and trying to always like find that killer pass where they're like more simple ball done. But obviously, I've not played football at that high of a level, but I'm one of those players who would like to try something like a pass out of the ordinary. And sometimes people like say, "Oh, just play a 5-yard pass." But sometimes when you've got these like players like Anderson, Gibbs, White, they're the players who will get you on the edge of your seat, and they can create something out of nothing. So I will never criticise like Gibbs White for trying the difficult ball, because he has got that in his locker where he tried to play a really nice pass into Wood, and I think Wood was like probably a split second too slow, and he bent it round outside of his foot, and it was a phenomenal pass. And if it come off, it would have been brilliant. But seeing it's just that split second delay or whatever, it didn't come off. But yeah, like I said, I'm never going to criticise like the likes of Gibbs White for trying something out in the ordinary, because they're the players who get bums on seats, really.
Mm. One thing that I did notice as well, very, very early on, like probably when Forest was still in the ascendancy at the start of the game, there was a point where Hudson-Odoi received the ball and he made to cut in the way that he does, and he immediately had 3 players on him. So Ipswich had obviously marked him out for that, because overall he probably had quite a quiet game.
Yeah, with Hudson-Odoi, he is one of those where it's like, you know what he's going to do, but because of the speed of thought and everything, it's all right knowing what he's going to do. It's all about stuff. But then other teams like double up on him, but Ipswich like tripled up on him, didn't they? Because obviously every time he picked up the ball, they're like, you know what he was going to do, kind of thing. So, they nullified him quite well. But that's not saying I thought Hudson-Odoi, he wasn't the best player on the pitch, but I still think he gave us that bit of something on the width. Because obviously when they ball broke, Ipswich's play broke down in the final third, we was like looking to like get the ball up the field as quickly as possible, and he was on that wing for the whole of like that first half in terms of like getting it and like attacking the fullback kind of thing. But there was some times where it was Transabi, wasn't it, who played right back today. And he was on a booking. There was some times where I know footballers aren't machines. Sometimes you got to know where to run, when to not run, because obviously you don't want to like run yourself in the ground after the first 30 minutes kind of thing. But I think Hudson-Odoi sometimes could have had that belief to actually go and have another run at Transabi, because obviously he was on a booking, like committing, and like what happened the other week against West Ham when was it the Mexican guy who got sent out? Alvarez, yeah. When you start asking questions of the defenders when they're on a booking, then it takes that split second of like misfortune for them, and if he goes down kind of thing, it's a second yellow card. But yeah, sometimes you just want players to believe a bit more and attack.
Sticking with that side of the pitch as well, I thought for the first half an hour, maybe even the whole of the first half, I thought Hutchinson caused Williams a lot of problems. Williams was just a little bit like too slow tracking him and stuff like that. Or he'd miss his tackles and stuff.
Yeah, I thought that, but once he like got to grips with him, I know he got man of the match today, and I wouldn't. He had a good game, but I wouldn't say he was my man of the match. I think my man of the match would have been Murillo, Milenkovic, or Aina. I think defensively they were sound, and Aina, some of the challenges, because he's one of those players, isn't he? Aina, he doesn't dive in; he just waits for that opportunity to get the ball, and he did it a couple of times. And I mean, it would have been a travesty if the right at the end of the 90 minutes, it was into stoppage time, and he's gone in for a challenge, but he hasn't actually touched the ball. The Ipswich player took the ball out of play, and the referee gave a bloody corner. I'm like thinking, if this goes in for like a wrong decision, it would just be like typical. But thankfully, with that defence marshalled by like the likes of Milenkovic, obviously we got it clear. But yeah, Aina was fantastic.
Actually, another thing that I noticed in the second half, especially when there was a point where we were trying to corner flag it, and Milenkovic was absolutely furious with Aina. He was proper yelling at him, and like Aina was like yelling back at him, like, "What are you going on at me for?" But Milenkovic like was doing a proper defensive leadership job, making sure everyone knew exactly what they were supposed to be doing.
The thing with Milenkovic is like, when he's in that mode, it's like no F's given. He's like, I'm telling you to do this kind of thing.
And the bloke next to me said, and if Milenkovic was yelling at me, I'd do exactly what he was doing.
Yeah. So, but no, Milenkovic has been, we've been waxing lyrical since he joined us from Fiorentina, but been absolutely, he just galvanised that back line, and everybody knows the job now. Where like last year, I mentioned it a few pods ago that Murillo were 40 because he knew he was probably better than everybody else without being like too big headed, but he probably felt that he had to like fill gaps all over the pitch and everything when he had like Worrell near Carty, etc. But he doesn't have to do that now. He just can concentrate on his own game because you've got that man mountain of Milenkovic next to him, and just put a calmness into that back four, because there's been quite a few games this season where we've won games and Matt Sells has got a clean sheet and hasn't had anything to do. I mean, obviously it's a team game, but Milenkovic has brought a lot of calmness to that back line, and we've been brilliant for it.
And speaking of which, so I think the only real chance Ipswich had in the first half was when Aina cleared off the line from for I can't even remember who it was. Smodic, I think.
Yeah, there was another chance what they had where Sells has saved it and he's come out, and I think that Connor Chaplin was wanted just to like latch onto it.
Oh yeah, and then Delat took it off his leg.
Yeah, so they got away with one there kind of thing, because like no disrespect to them too, but if there was like a Martin Odegaard or Kevin De Bruyne or somebody, I think that's sitting in the back of the net kind of thing, because they would have been absolutely set. But that probably comes along with the naivety where probably Liam Delat thinks he's the main man, he's got to get onto it, but then he hasn't been aware of what's around him. So got away with one there, thankfully.
And that took us to half time. So pretty low on the chances front. Pretty frustrating to watch just because of the physical nature of it. But 0-0, which you can't really complain at, although a few people did boo. However, second half, that was a different story.
Yes, with looking back on it, with Yachty, he's one of those, like, he's a bit of an enigma, isn't he? You kind of like, when he goes down, he makes sure he knows he's going down in terms of like telling everybody I've been fouled. I thought it was one of those where when he went down, I thought, it's going to be one of those where he's gone down a bit theatrically and thinking this is just going to be waved away. And then there was that split second where the referee's thought about it and think, I'm going to give a penalty here. And
that pause, then I was convinced he's going to just wave it on.
Yeah, I thought that. I mean, I was at the other end of the ground in V1 in Upper Bridgeford, and there's been the way we get there's been more blatant penalties and we've not been given them, like i.e. was it the Williams one last year and the one he won against the Newcastle. I thought then he pointed to the spot and I thought there's still a jeopardy element here, but I thought this is going to go to VAR, there's going to be minimal contact and he's going to overturn it, but thankfully Mr. Chris Wood hit the penalty, and I think it was a wise move by Arrow.
Just move out of the way,
yeah. I think the ball would have hit him and he would have landed into the back row of Trent. He hardly took the net out, didn't he? But with that goal, he's equalled all-time Premier League goal scorer.
Yeah.
So obviously he only needs one now to beat his record kind of thing. So, but yeah, I think on the run of play, I think we did deserve that kind of thing. I thought we probably just shaded it as the better team kind of thing.
And with the goal, that kind of opened up the game, and we started looking like the team we know. We actually managed to keep a bit of possession, controlled the midfield a bit, and for a little while we sort of had Ipswich on the ropes a bit.
Yeah, it would have been nice to get that second goal, because obviously why it's only one goal, they only need a chance. If it goes in, it's kind of like a bit of anxiety comes into the stadium kind of thing. But I mean, Muric has made a decent save, hasn't he, from that Murillo chance where he tipped onto the crossbar, and we had a couple of penalty shouts, didn't we? I mean, Chris Wood he was adamant that he got taken out when Muric was flapping around. Then there was the other one.
Just when Gibbs White overhit the pass and Wood was running across the goal.
Yeah, I've looked at that again, and there is contact. And I'm like thinking, should it be a penalty kind of thing? And some people says no, he's going away from goal and all of that. And then people have been asking me the question, says, if it was against Forest, you'd be like spewing over the decision. So
with the Wood one, the second one where he's going away from goal, I thought actually, having just before recording this, I just watched the highlights on Sky.
Yeah,
on my phone, and it looked to me like the defender got the ball.
Yeah, I mean, we've only seen one shot at that. I thought he made contact, but like I says, I'm not going to split hairs over it. I've seen some of them given them, and I'm seeing them not given. So,
and then the earlier one where Wood went down after the Murillo header, I thought he went over the defender's foot rather than the defender moving into him. But at the time, both of them I thought were dead cert penalties.
Yeah, I just thought this shouldn't come into the referee's thinking, but it was only 2 minutes before that he gave us a penalty.
Yeah.
It's one of those where you don't get two penalties within the space of 2 minutes, do you? So Yeah, like I says, it swings and roundabouts. We've been not given penalties and all of that. So, I mean, yeah, we're, at the end of the day, we've won the game, and that's all what matters. But if we was like only drew the game kind of thing and didn't get one of those penalties, we'd probably like have a more stronger feeling not given kind of thing. And then obviously it was all. Then we'd probably be bringing up all the shenanigans about the integrity of the Premier League and referees and all that. So thankfully we got a penalty, we scored it, we're sixth in the league, and as a Forest fan, you cannot complain. Anybody complaining about, we didn't play that well and this, that and the other, we're sixth in the Premier League. And other fans similar age to me and older and younger, we've been to some like absolutely nothing ground in League One and everything. So I'm never ever going to complain that we're Nottingham Forest, as of the 30th of November, that we're sixth in the Premier League. So yeah, happy days.
The 1865 Match Report.
Hi, it's Rich here, and thanks, as always, for listening to 1865, the Nottingham Forest podcast. You may have heard that Billy Davies is going to be doing a gig. Yes, he is coming to the Albert Hall in Nottingham in February to talk about his time at Nottingham Forest, and he will be joined by a few familiar faces such as Wes Morgan, Lee Camp and Terry the Kitman. Well, I just want to let you know that we are soon going to have an exclusive giveaway and more details relating to this event. So keep tuned in to 1865, the Nottingham Forest podcast. We'll be telling you more very soon.
This episode is brought to you by NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube TV. There's plenty to be thankful for. Your friends, family, and the fact that you can now get NFL Sunday Ticket for only $89. So thank yourself this holiday season and watch every game every Sunday when you bundle NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube TV. Sign up now at youtube.com/Sunday Ticket. Offer ends December 2nd. Local and national games on YouTube TV. NFL Sunday Ticket for out-of-market games. Excludes digital-only games. Terms and embargoes apply.
You're listening to 1865, the Nottingham Forest podcast.
Right, so Ipswich gave us a scare towards the end of the game, and Nuno made some changes. He went to a back five with Morato coming on. Anderson went off for Dominguez. Moreno came on for Williams, I think it was. And Morato, who did Morato replace?
Gibbs White. Did Gibbs White come off?
No, it was Jota that came off
first. Yes.
Which wasn't a surprise. He looked like he'd run himself into the ground a bit by then. But yeah, the back five, I understood what he was trying to do, because that was I've got the subs. I don't have the list in front of me. I think I've got the order of them wrong. But yeah, because Alanga came on as well, and I could see what he was trying to do. He just wanted to. We were losing the midfield again by this point in the game, and he wanted to shore up the defence and then maybe get us something on the break, and that kind of made sense. But it didn't really work. It just invited more pressure onto us, didn't it?
Yeah, I think. Like you took words out of my mouth, so to speak, in terms of, he wanted, like, obviously shore it up at the back, bringing Morato on, it just solidifies things, doesn't it? Then obviously, while they're bringing men forward and probably bringing probably a defender further up or midfield, it probably creates like that opening for Alanga or Sousa to run into, but we didn't really get a chance like that, did we? They, like I says, the Ipswich are a very good football inside, and I think they didn't really panic until probably the last minute or so of injury time when they bring Mierich up for a couple of set pieces. So we're just in. I can see what Nuno is trying to do, but then obviously he's trying to utilise his squad, isn't it? Because of this 3-game week we've got. Was going back to the team selection. I wasn't surprised with Dominguez has run himself into the ground in recent weeks, and obviously just use your squad. You got a 25-man squad there, use it kind of thing. And obviously we're not going to see much of the ball on Wednesday, are we, against Man City, who kind of do a lot of chasing shadows and potentially go into a low block. I know Man City they've been crap, haven't they? For their standards, they've been absolutely woeful, but this is still a Man City side with the likes of Haaland, Foden, De Bruyne, and Gundogan and players like that. So it's going to be an incredibly hard task for us again. So yeah, you got to utilise the squad and make sure you manage this squad because, like I said, you don't want to run players into the ground. No disrespect, but at home against Ipswich, then you play the next 2 games and you get absolutely hammered because obviously the players got nothing left in the legs. Yeah, it's all about utilising the squad. Hence why having a 25-man squad.
And and even though we did kind of invite a lot of pressure onto ourselves, the fact is we held out. There was that little scare right at the end, as you said, where Aina went in for a challenge, slid between the ball and the man, didn't touch the ball, and the ref decided to give a corner for it. And then at that point, everyone in front of me stood up, so I didn't actually see anything that happened to that corner. I did see Murridge going up, but and then suddenly everyone was like cheering because the final whistle had gone.
Yeah. I saw because the referee was obviously at our end because I was in Upper Ridgeford and that was the goal what we was defending, and I saw the whistle going into his mouth, but then I didn't hear anything else. So it's like, all right. Then the only bit where I thought this is full time is when the linesmen come over and and because they're all coming together, then go off together. And I thought, yeah, we've got this in the back. But then obviously, status quo is rocking all over the world. Come on, which is. The winning tune now, isn't it? And Moreno did his fist pumps and all of that. So yeah, it was much without being hysterical about it. It was a much needed 3 points because obviously the last 2 games haven't gone according to plan, and it just puts a bit of confidence into the side going into these next 2 games against Man City and Man United.
Yeah, definitely. Clean sheet and 3 points, that's basically a perfect result.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if it wasn't a great game to watch.
No, exactly. I'd rather get points on the board kind of thing because, I mean, look at Southampton. I know we're not in their situation kind of thing, but the last couple of games they've played well, but they've then come away with 1 point against Liverpool and Brighton. So it's always nice to get points on the board and in the Premier League, regardless of who you play, there's never any easy games. And I think Ipswich put up a really good fight, and I think they will be all right this season if they get. I don't know who they've got next, but if they can get a couple of wins back to back, if you remember that mini spell what we had at around about the January time, to get a couple of wins back to back and just put bit of confidence in the side because, like I said, they are a good side, and if they do stay up, I'll have no qualms about them staying up over somebody.
Especially as it looks like Leicester are probably busy shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah, especially without Fass in their back line. I mean, obviously we don't want to go on too much about it, but with Steve Cooper losing his job last Sunday, I think he's done a remarkable job.
Yeah, I think I don't know where they expected to be at this point in the season, but.
Exactly. And obviously, if you got Wout Fass in your back line and he's gifting teams goals Chris Woody's goal and the goal last week for Nicholas Jackson, I mean, he's going to be doing something right in Leicester. But obviously, it's Van Nistelrooy's gig now. But one thing we will say is there's been a tweet what's been going around this evening, and Forest are on 22 points, and it took the first week of April against Fulham to get 22 points. That is absolutely insane, and just shows how consistent we've been this season. Obviously, with 3 defeats, but to be in 6th place, 22 points already on the board.
That's 5 months.
Yeah, it's 5 months early. It's unbelievable. So, yeah, like I said, I mentioned a couple of pods ago, we're never going to be in a relegation battle this season unless something monumentally goes wrong, and I can't see, because in January we've got the transfer window, and I do expect us to go in for a striker. Who that is, I don't know, but I think Forest will be in a really, really good position to obviously entice a better calibre of player, because they can probably say, look, we're in 6th place, we've done this, we've done that, and you could be the final piece.
Even if we have a slump this season, next season we'll be back there.
Yeah, because you're already showing the credential of what we're capable of, and if obviously you just get entice that better calibre of player, And if you remember, like Brighton's first couple of seasons in the Premier League, they were like 15th, 16th from the huge. And then obviously Potter went in, De Zerbi went in, and obviously Hertzler have gone in, and they've gone up the league. And I think if they would have won last night, I think they would have been in second place, and they've made like unbelievable progress. And I'm never going to say that we're going to go down the same route as them in terms of position, but progress bit by bit each year and getting a better caliber of player in, you never know what it, if you're consistent with it, you can get into Europe. But obviously, I think we're doing things the right way at the moment. We're being like calculated in the transfer window, getting some like really good players in and everything. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting January to see if we do add one or two, and that might solidify us in that top 10, which we all want. And if that does happen, it's going to be an unbelievable season for us.
But before we get to January, we've got to get through December. You see, we've already talked about Man City. I'm quietly optimistic about that one, just because they're so vulnerable on the break. So as long as we can keep them out for the first 20 minutes or so, I think we've got a chance there.
Yeah, it's like any games, isn't it? Against the top teams, it's like your first 20 minutes is imperative. And going back to last week, the first like 20 minutes, Forest didn't get out of bed, and you just knew last Saturday Arsenal were going to hurt you in terms of the goal disallowed were offside. Then it was just a matter of time before they. But if we apply ourselves in the right mentality kind of thing, and actually play our own game, and then get over that first 20 minutes and build upon that like we did against Liverpool, and you never know what might happen. But yeah, it's a massive month, isn't it? We've got a lot of games. We've got the likes of
Man U, who are in transition.
Yeah.
We've got Villa, who have dropped out of form because of Europe. We've got Spurs, who are unpredictable. The only one I'm really worried about is Brentford.
Yeah, I mean, they're unbelievable at home. Did the one today, didn't they, Brentford?
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, he's got... I mean... they're not my favourite club for different reasons, but yeah, I think that'll be a good game just before Christmas against Brentford. Then obviously we've got our last ever visit to Goodison Park, which I think that is going to be a massive loss to English football. I mean, I get why they're moving stadium because it's an absolute time warp, isn't it? Goodison Park, but they need to move with the times. But yeah, that place will be sorely missed when whatever they do with it, pull it down or whatever, and when they move to that Bramley Moor dock. So yeah, that, which I'm glad that I'm going to Goodison Park. And then obviously we've got Wolves at the turn of the new year. So yeah, it's a very busy month, and hopefully no suspensions, no injuries, and can just like keep bubbling along nicely. And then come January, hopefully we'll get a couple of signings in, and that will just like solidifies hopefully in top finish. And if that happens, like says, is Nuno and Co have worked wonders, haven't they, on Trent's side?
Definitely. Right, so thank you very much, Tom, for giving us your views on the match. Thank you very much for listening. We'll be back with all the usual shows, the Friday 5, the match reports and so on in the coming weeks. As I say, very busy December. So thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
How do you feel when you switch to Geico and save on your car insurance? It's like going to work on one Thursday morning and thinking to yourself, just one more day until Friday. But then somebody in the elevator says, Happy Friday! Then you check your phone quickly and discover today's actually Friday. So yes, Happy Friday, random stranger in the elevator. Happy Friday indeed. Yep, switching and saving with Geico feels just like that. Get more with Geico.